The 5 foods that are secretly ruining your gut health. If you deal with bloating or the sensation of feeling very sluggish even after eating a meal that you think it's a healthy diet, then there is a chance that there's a real problem with your gut than you can think about. And so today I'm going to break down the 5 everyday foods that are quietly damaging your gut that most people are not aware of. Again, I'm Dr. Moses, and on this channel, we talk about bridging real science with natural wellness. And your gut health is one of the most important and underrated part of our overall health because your digestion and your immunity are all linked together. And even sometimes your mood can be linked to your gut health. So let's dive into these 5 foods that are secretly damaging your gut health and your overall health. The first one is refined sugar. Sugar is not really just about weight gain because what the sugar does is that it feeds the bad bacteria in your gut, allowing overgrowth of the bad bacteria and therefore renewing the beneficial strains of bacteria in our guts. Over time, we develop a system called dysbiosis that can lead to bloating, irregular bowel movement, and even weaken our immunity. So the tricky part is that the sugar, they hide in places you're not expect, in things like flavored yogurts, sauces, granola bars. And so my advice is that if you cannot read the label and it's very, very long, that means there is something wrong with it. And we do not want to stop all this all at once, but we want to cut back slowly and replace this with things that are beneficial to our guts. The second one is processed food. Now, if you think about processed foods like, packed snacks, noodles, and frozen ready meals, these are actually loaded with artificial preservative and emulsifiers. And the studies have actually increasingly linked these things with irritation of the gut lining. And so, because of the irritation of the gut lining, they can actually damage the protective layer of your intestine, making it to trigger inflammation. And so, again, if you cannot read the label on on the package, that means that it contains substances that are very bad for your gut. The third one is excess dairy. Now, excess dairy are bad for people with lactose intolerance, and that is not, a secret. And unfortunately, there's a huge population of people with lactose intolerance these days. And so, what your body does is that because it cannot break down the lactose in completely, it ferments in your gut, causing gas and cramping and bloating. So you don't necessarily need to cut back completely dairy, but you can get lactose-free options or fermented dairy like kefir. And these actually are gut-friendly because of the live cultures they contain. The fourth thing that we consume that are very bad for our guts are fried foods and oily food because high fat and deep fried meals slow down gut emptying, meaning the food sits in your stomach for a long time, which can lead to heavy, sluggish feeling that most people feel. And sometimes people even develop acid reflux because of that. And so try to cook yourself, do things like grilling or boiling or baking or even air frying can be more beneficial and give you a similar flavor. The last but not the least is artificial sweetness. Artificial sweetness. In fact, several studies have found that certain artificial sweetness can alter the composition of the gut bacteria or the gut flora, sometimes in a way that is linked to blood sugar irregularities. Yes, that is true, which is very ironic because most people try to use, sweetness specifically to manage sugar intake. So if you really want sweetness without the drawback, then small amount of natural options like honey or dates, okay, are generally better tolerated by our guts. So let's recap the 5 things that you should be eating in moderation and avoid if you can, because it affects your gut, immunity and your gut health. Number 1 is refined sugar. Number 2, processed food. Number 3, excess dairy. Number 4, fried and oil foods. And number 5, artificial sweetness. Now, if these videos have helped you understand your gut health a little better, then drop a comment gut in the comment section. And again, I'll put together a full 7-day gut reset plan for you next. Now, again, don't forget to subscribe to the channel as always, because we provide you with science-based information to help you live a better and healthier life.